after the Gracies gave me the okay to open up in the Walled Lake area, I had to come up with a name of the school right away. So I was thinking back of what to call it, and the biggest influence in my life, which has always given me my strength and determination, has been my father. My father was a survivor of the Holocaust. He jumped from a train going to a death camp, Treblinka, and he always instilled on me the idea to be a warrior, to be strong, to never bow down to anybody, to always stand up for myself, and it was a great lesson for me to learn from my father. So when I was thinking of what to call the place, I didn't want to call it Survivor or this or that, so Warrior just stuck in my mind that to survive today's world, you have to be a modern-day warrior, right? I was always impressed with the Spartans and things and the warrior techniques that were part of the Greek culture. And I feel it's really important for the youth of America to grow up with a warrior spirit, to know everything's not going to be handed to them, that they need to fight for what they believe in, have a strong set of beliefs, and have the ability to stand up for yourself and to be a modern-day warrior. That's basically where the name the Warrior Way came from. Right. So again, I was very lucky to have the opportunity to train with many of the Gracie brothers, with Elio Gracie. After about, 6-7 years of training and going to California on a regular basis, at that point they brought in Kaiki to start teaching the majority of classes out in California, out in Torrance, California. Hoist was very busy traveling the world. His seminars were in large demand, so they needed to bring their top guy from Brazil to the Gracie Academy in Torrance. While I was out there, I met Kaiki. He started basically teaching all the classes I would attend. So I was, fortunate to become fairly close with Kaiki. I mean, we were a similar age, and we just struck a good kind of relationship early on. I was real happy to learn from him. Obviously, I was real happy to attend the Gracie Academy. Things were going along really well. At one point, the Academy seemed to be getting to where it was going to be splitting up. I felt Hoist was going to be going out on his own, doing his own thing. Horian was going to do his own thing at the Academy, and Kaiki would be leaving, doing his own thing. At that point, it was kind of confusing for a lot of us what we should do at that point. So I remember talking to a lot of the friends I made out in California, a lot of the higher belts at the Gracie Academy, a lot of the high belts in the Midwest, and having these conversations back and forth. What are we going to do at this point? A number of us decided that we were going to go with Kaiki. We felt he was giving us great instruction, and I also felt he had a little bit more of an emphasis towards competition, and competition was something I always grew up with. Being a young guy, I was always involved in football, basketball, and baseball. I loved the idea of sport, so the idea of doing something I loved in self-defense and jiu-jitsu, but being able to incorporate it into a sport just got me very excited. With Kaiki, I felt I could fulfill both ends of the spectrum, where we could work our self-defense, but I also could be involved in the sport aspect. So I made the decision to, when Kaiki went out on his own, I made the decision to become a part of the Kaiki Association. I approached him. I said I was interested in training underneath him. He agreed, and we became a Kaiki Association at that time. Yeah, Warrior Way was very fortunate in the early 2000s to team up with Kaiki. We became one of his first training associations in the United States, obviously. I felt it was a great decision for Warrior Way because he had a real desire to teach us jiu-jitsu, every aspect of jiu-jitsu, from fighting in the streets to tournaments on the mats, and to the idea of what strength and honor means. So the integrity of Kaiki was what really impressed me and which brought me to that decision to team up with him. I've been very fortunate to have a close association with Kaiki over the years. I consider him to be one of my closest and dearest friends. It's been a great ride together. My students at Warrior Way are always excited when Kaiki comes into town for seminars. It's been something that I really feel has strengthened Warrior Way, and it's kept our connection with the originators of this art. Kaiki was always considered the best student at Gracie Academia in Rio de Janeiro. He was very close with Elio Gracie, very close with Carlos Gracie, spent a great deal of time with Hickson and Helson. Just great jiu-jitsu and traditional jiu-jitsu. And that's the jiu-jitsu that I want at Warrior Way. Strong self-defense and creating people with integrity. Strength, honor, and integrity. And that's what you get with Kaiki. When I started Warrior Way, we ran classes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, as well as the karate style that I learned earlier on in life. As the school kept going, I felt that the two didn't mix together. I felt that jiu-jitsu was so real, where you're sweating on each other, you're arm locking, you're choking, things like that. And the karate I learned with forms and patterns didn't seem to be the proper match to work together with the jiu-jitsu program. I had the opportunity to meet a gentleman from Thailand, a fighter from Thailand, brought him in because I felt that the Thai style would probably be a better match for the jiu-jitsu style. Brought him in, didn't have a lot of success with the first guy I brought in. Then a friend of mine mentioned that there was another Thai fighter who's in the United States who's not doing well at the school he was at the time, and we decided to bring him into Warrior Way to do a few seminars, and this was Métis. We brought Métis in, and I was happy to see that Métis had that same kind of attitude that Kaiki had, that I had, that this had to be fun. We're serious about what we do, but we want to have a good time doing it. And the first seminar I brought him in, I saw right away that the students really enjoyed the way he taught, his laughter, his boyish almost attitude towards things. At that time, I approached Métis and I said, look, I can't pay you a lot of money, but you can move into my house and start working at the gym, and let's see what happens. At that time, Métis agreed. He moved into my home. I introduced him to my wife and two daughters, and he basically became like a son to me. Living in the house, we'd work together every night, doing, him teaching the Muay Thai, me teaching Jiu-Jitsu. We'd go home every night together and cook dinner together, have some laughs together, and had a great time. Looking back, it was the best thing that I think I did for Warrior Way as far as the stand-up aspect of the program. I felt like Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu really moved in together very well. Muay Thai dealing with the far range of fighting, Jiu-Jitsu with the close range, and both dealing with the clinch. Muay Thai is very effective with the clinch, and I felt that was, the big reason why it was, for me, something that I needed to do here as opposed to karate. So I kept karate for the kids. I think forms, patterns are great in a kids program, but I think an adult program, when you're serious about self-defense, fighting, to me, the two styles are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing. So, Métis was a great asset to the gym. Everything was working out great. The students were really enjoying his classes. And it was easy to see how great his technique was. The beauty of his movement, the strength of his kicks and punches, it amazed me. But I never realized how big a deal Métis was until I went to Thailand. I remember going to Thailand and getting into a taxi cab, and the driver asked me, what am I doing in Thailand? I said, I came here for a wedding. He says, whose wedding? I said, Métis. He turned around and looked at me. He said, how do you know Métis? I said, we work together in the United States. He teaches Muay Thai at my school, I teach Jiu-Jitsu, and we've been working together for years. The driver turned and looked at me and said, he's a very famous man in Thailand. So right away I knew he was a big deal, and then when Métis picked us up at the airport and we started traveling around with him, everywhere we went, people would stop him to talk to him and be so happy to see him. And I realized that he was somewhat of a legend in Muay Thai in Thailand. So again, Warrior Way was really lucky to get Métis to agree to teach with us, to work here. It's been very rewarding for me to work with Métis again. I considered Métis a son when he lived with me for all those years, me being a few years older than him. So it's been a great benefit to me having Métis at the school, and his strength and his warmth and his friendship means the world to me.